Hey everybody, welcome,
Hello.
welcome. Um, yeah, hi. So I'm Juggler. A lot of you probably know my handle, but maybe have not seen my face before, so it's exciting. Um, and Myxo's here with me today, another amazing setter, but going to be doing some solving today of a puzzle that I created. Um, Myxo, should we just do some like personal intros, like say a bit about ourselves first?
Oh, I
Um,
wouldn't really know what to say. Uh, but
just like a history with puzzles. I can go first.
yeah, sure, sure.
I've been into well puzzles and games and things for a long time, but variant Sudoku for almost exactly 2 years. I think it was right at the end of 2023 ish. Probably I saw some cracking the cryptic videos or something like that, and thought, oh, I could make those. Started solving them and started making them, and yeah, the rest is history. I mean, I got very into it and started making some really strange puzzles. I think one of which you'll see today. Um, and yeah, I was really excited to attend SudokuCon this year and got to meet a lot of folks in person, which was fantastic. And I'm excited for next year as well. Um, so yeah, it's a little bit about me.
All right. Yeah, I am Mixo. I was just looking up when I started solving, but I can't easily go back that far on LMD. I think somewhere in 2020, maybe I would say, like early 2020. Um, and then I started setting in November of 2022 and been quite active with solving and setting since then. So hopefully I'll do fine today solving your puzzle live.
Oh, I have no doubt. Mix is like an incredibly talented solver. If I were solving your puzzle, I would be very worried. But given that it's the other way around, I think it's going to be totally fine. Although this is a
Yeah,
strange one.
I tend to not do that well under pressure, but let's see how it goes. I mean,
Well,
I'm sure you will help me if
I'll read
I
comments
get
from
stuck.
chat. I'll try not to provide any hints myself unless asked. But I think people will probably be shouting all kinds of things in chat, and I'll try to look over and read some of them to you if I see anything.
All
If you're
right.
okay with that.
Yeah. Also, I won't be reading chat while solving, so
Yeah, I'll try to
uh,
notify you if anything important happens. If you see me
yeah,
looking over to my
cool.
left, that's what I'm doing.
All right.
Oh, we've got a puzzle.
Okay. Do we have the puzzle? Uh,
Yep, it's showing live. Yeah, you're welcome to dive in.
awesome. Okay. Let's see. So shape fight, and it looks to be a puzzle without rules. Well, except for Sudoku rules, I guess.
Oh yeah, so folks on the live stream can't see the rules area, but it just says Sudoku rules always apply, and the rest is up to you to discover.
Yeah.
And there are four hyperlinks that correspond to the text that you see around the grid. Um, so I won't tell Mixo what to do with that, but that's what
Mhm.
he's seeing in the rules area.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that I will have to like looks like these puzzles, like the hyperlinks have the names of these puzzles that seem to be like small puzzles and cells. I'm assuming I'll have to solve those puzzles first to understand what I have to do in the big puzzle. But I just want to take a quick look first. Um, okay, so yeah, it looks like we have a lot of elements that could be relevant here. Like we have circles and squares. We have the circles and squares each have like two arms that point in certain directions, either
Hmm.
orthogonal or diagonal. So that's probably going to be relevant.
It's very curious.
Um, and then we have these these shapes. We have arrows, and I guess we have other types of arrows which are like thinner in those cells as well. So yeah, a lot of elements here.
And
Yeah, I
Viking
think
Prime
I'm
is
just gonna.
commenting on funny facial expressions just with a few eyes, and Malrog thinks that row 6, column 8 is funny, which I might be
Yeah,
biased, but I agree with that assessment.
yeah, true, true. But these ones seem to have an arrow stuck all the way through their body, and they don't seem as concerned. So maybe
Well, I
those
think they're
small
carrying
arrows.
they're carrying it is the intent,
Right, right. Yeah.
not so much
Okay.
wounded.
All right, cool. So I guess I'll just start with the first. I'll switch to the puzzle that's linked first, which is Circle City.
Hmm.
That one. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so this one only has the circles. And there's another puzzle linked here, which should be that one down here. So I guess we'll quickly switch over to that. Okay, and this has another one linked. So let's see when this will end. Okay, looks like here we are. So now we're at the puzzle where there's no other puzzles linked. And I'm going to assume that we'll solve this one. And this marked square digit is going to probably go in the place of the puzzle, since all of these have like a square marked like
Hmm.
that. Okay. So let's start with this one. And it looks like this is just going to start solving with classic Sudoku here. By the way, I have the conflict checker on. Is that something that I
Nice.
should turn off?
I think it should be fine. It's totally up to
Like
you.
the pencil mark checker as well. I mean, because that's what
Yeah, it's up
I
to you. It
usually.
will. It should work fine. So either way is okay.
Okay, fine.
And
Yeah,
that's something I can talk about, like trying to get Sudoku Pad conflict checker to behave correctly for weird shaped grids. But all of these grids are pretty normal.
yeah. So yeah, I'm just solving this as a classic Sudoku right now. I don't think I need to say too much about what I'm doing here. It's just naked and hidden singles
I think most of
for
the audience
now.
probably knows about those techniques. Yeah.
Yeah, oops. Um, yeah, but yeah, I usually use the pencil mark checker because I think like scanning for digits looking at pencil marks is not the more interesting part of solving Sudoku.
I 100% agree. I mean, I know some people feel like differently, like they want to flex, like that they're very really good at classic Sudoku. And for me, I know that I'm bad at classic Sudoku, and it's not what I'm here for. So I don't mind cheating on just yes, there's already a 5 in this column. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think I am
it's
decent
not the
at
interesting
classic.
part.
I'm decent at classic Sudoku. I am not.
You actually are, yeah.
I'm. I'm not great at solving classic Sudoku fast. Like I'm nowhere like a competitive solver or something. But I think I'm good enough at scanning that there would never be a moment where if I disable the pencil mark checker, it's gonna prevent me from solving a puzzle. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's sort of my stance.
yeah, I very much
Okay,
agree. Like the interesting part for me is the variant logic often, or at least the Sudoku logic that isn't just there's already a 5 in this column. That's never an interesting deduction, so I don't mind cheating on those.
all right. So it looks like we are done with the classic Sudoku here as far as it goes, and now I'll have to figure out what the clues mean. Okay, and I think I figured it out. It looks like the circle is the sum of the two digits that it's pointing to. So this 5 is pointing left and right, which means it's 4 plus 1. And this 4 is pointing towards the 3 and the 1.
Ah,
Um, yeah, and this 2 is pointing twice to this one. So it's just double. that digit. That seems to be consistent here. And if I make this a 2, that becomes a 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. And then all of these work as well. So yeah, one way of arranging these 2, 3 seems to make all of these circles work with that logic. So I'm just going to assume that's correct. And it seems like it was.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, that's one
and
thing so I've made a few of these packs with this structure, and one
mm,
interesting thing is if you solve it on paper versus solving on Sudoku Pad, it's a bit different because on Sudoku Pad a message pops up and says this is the correct fill, and for pen and paper solvers they still don't know if they've guessed it correctly. So it's an interesting difference, but I like this because it
right.
gives you a little bit of positive feedback right away. But it's just something
Yeah,
I had to think about.
right. Makes sense. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we figured out the rule for the circles. And now I'm going to go back to, and the digit in the square is a 2. So I'm assuming that here I will have to put a 2 in here in the cell.
Hmm.
But let's see, maybe I start without that assumption and see how far we can get uh, without it. So now that we know how these circles work, okay,
So lots of stuff going on in chat. Oh yeah, Timo Chad points out that it tells you the grid is correct, but it could be correct for a different reason. So it's still not 100% confirming your hypothesis, which is true. Tall
true.
categories validation is important. James Sinclair asked if all the visuals in the puzzles are done with just standard Sudoku Maker features, and yeah, they are. In this one, it's all circles and squares and lines and things like that. So that little grid you see inside the grid is just lots of little circles and text and lines.
Oh my god, that seems like a lot of effort. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's a bit. It's a bit. It's not as much as you'd think.
that's very cool though.
But these are not background images. Yeah, to answer James Sinclair's question, they're lines and squares and things.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think, yeah, I've never really bothered like making my puzzles that pretty in terms of like actually looking like something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my puzzles tend to just be very abstract, like lines, circles, like keeping it minimalistic.
Well, I think if you're using fairly standard constraints, I don't think it's a good idea to just add fun visuals to represent, crop key dots. Like crop key dots can look like crop key dots.
Yeah.
And I've seen people that just replace like a standard clue type with some kind of fancy thematic thing, and it's fine. But I don't think it's really necessary. So, and I think you do a lot of puzzles with very simple standard constraints, and then the beauty of your
Hmm.
puzzles is like this crazy emergent logic. So, but if you invent new clue types, I think that's like a good opportunity to think about theming.
Right. Okay, so let me actually try to get to solve this one. So I've just marked all the circles that sum two different digits. They have to be at least 3. Yeah. So just from on this one could be 2 in theory, because these both could be 1. Um, and then like this cell is contributing to both of these, so this can't be higher than 4, because if that was 5, these would both have to be 6. Same for this cell contributing to both of those. And then the only other thing I could think of is seeing which cells can't be 6s, because cells that are pointed to by a circle obviously cannot be 6. So none of these cells are 6s. Yeah, and now my conclusion is that I actually have to probably use the given 2 from this puzzle. I mean, there could be a trick here, but I'm Yeah, I'm assuming this puzzle, as is it's the second one in the list, is not gonna be hard. So, and since I can't see the trick immediately, I will just put the 2 here and see what happens. That's thing. Okay.
Yeah, I like hearing your logic about the meta strategies for this pack, because
Yeah.
yeah, there's no instructions. So
So now this row becomes interesting because now these two cells, right? One of them, like if yeah, like both of these sums need a 1 in them now, because if I can't use 2, and if I sum 3 and 4, that's 7, which is too high. So this cell is the 1 because it contributes to both of these sums. And now that one is going to be 4 or 5, and that means we get a 6 here. And 1 plus 5 is 6, and 4 is 3 plus 1. And that works. Now this is 5 or 6, so this cell needs to be a 2 or 3. It can't be 3. That's a 2, that's a 5. Right, we also have, so 2, 5, 6 here. That can't be 6 because this cell has to be bigger than that one, so that's a 2. And now we have 2 plus 1, 3, or 4, so this one can't be 4. 1, 3, 4 here as well. This 3, 4, like a sum to 3 or 4 is either 1, 2, or 1, 3. So we have this. Tensor marking, we definitely have a 1 in those cells. And now we have an X-wing on 1s, and in row 2, it means the 1 is here.
oh,
If I
nice.
stop me if I'm
Wow, that's a
going
great
through
spot.
this, stop me if I'm going through this too fast, by the way, but I think most people who are watching the stream should be familiar with these techniques. But basically, I was just looking at where one can go in column 5, which was one of these two places, and then therefore it can't go here, and then in row 2 it's there.
Yeah, I don't think I remember spotting that X-wing. That's a very nice spot. Of course, it's a 6x6, so there's lots of you can make progress in lots of places, but that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, so now there's probably, well, let's see. So this is now bigger than a 3. So this cell is at least 4, but it's not 5. So 4 would work with 3 and 1. And if this is 6, this would be 2 or 3. Right, so this can never be 4, because then this would have to be 6, 2, which doesn't work. So we have a 3 here.
Oh, that's a nice way of seeing that. Yeah.
Now we have a 4, 6 pair vertically. So we have 5, 3, and 2 here, and that's going to disambiguate these two sum to 3. And now we just have Sudoku. 6 is 3 plus 3. That's a 5. That's a 2, 4, 5, 3. Okay, yeah, it's done.
Very nice.
Okay. Nice. And yeah, so yeah, I'm assuming it doesn't solve without putting this 2 here.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I no, I liked your reasoning, but you tried without it first to see if it did, and it's a nice way to
Yeah.
approach it. I should say, I mean, just take a step back. So, like, this is the third puzzle I've made with this structure, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of people that are solving this one have already done packs with this structure, so they didn't have to like prove that to themselves. But I don't want to rely on that, right? Like, of course, someone could come to this puzzle first and not have seen anything like it, and it should still work. So it's just something like to think about when I'm testing these. Is a lot of times the people testing it have some kind of prior knowledge, and you have to find somebody to test it that doesn't know like what this is about, and I think that's an important testing comment in general for people who make puzzles. Like, find testers that have not solved all your other puzzles first. If you care about the experience of someone coming in blind, especially for something like this. Um, so I'm glad you still got the structure even without doing similar puzzles.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think, yeah, I've seen one of your puzzles, one of the others that use that kind of thing, but I haven't solved it, I think. I've just
Gotcha.
seen it. Maybe
Yeah.
I've started solving it on my phone a little bit or something. I don't
Yeah,
quite
the other
remember.
two, I can show them on screen later, were called Pale Fire and Tree of Life. Actually, Tree of Life was a SudokuCon debut
Hmm.
that debuted at SudokuCon this year. And they use different notation, but the structure is very similar. And the first of those really hit you over the head with it. So there was an example where the outer puzzle let you get a digit just by Sudoku on one of the little grids. So you didn't even need to solve the little grid to get that digit. And then if you do go solve that little grid, you get a 3 out of it or whatever, and those two threes
Hmm.
match. So it was really like, yes, that really is what it is. And I think I
Okay.
haven't done that in the later packs, and but it still worked out okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so let's get to this one. It seems to be just the same rules. I've put the 3 already from the other grid in here, and now we'll just solve that one. So these two circles must be bigger than 3, but none of them can be double 3, so there's no 6. And these cells are a 1-2 pair. And actually, since these 1-2s are different, which I may color them. Now these are different because the 4-5 are different. Means that this cell sees both 1 and 2. So this is a naked single 6, and the yellow 1-2 goes here. Now I'm noticing that these circles, like this circle is at least 3 plus 1 now. This circle sums 2 different digits, so it's at least 3, and this one is bigger than that one. So actually we can even do it like that, and now the yellow 1-2 in this box is forced to be here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice coloring deductions there.
The yellow 1-2 also can't go there because this is at least 3 as well. So we have to put it here, which I also could have gotten that pencil mark from this sum, I suppose. All right, can I... Okay, let's think this through a bit more. We have this 4-5, so this cell is at most... These two cells are at most 4, because they have to be lower than that one, but this one's not 1 or 2. And now this one is at least 3, while this is at most 5, so this is maximum 2, making this the purple 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that's not 3, because this cell is at least 3. So we can remove that, and now we have a triple. So this cell is 3. Makes this 4-5, makes this not 4, because it's bigger, and now we get a 4 here. And that's forced to be 1 plus 3. And now we've disambiguated the colors. Very nice.
That was way more efficient than I think I solved this one in my test solve, if I remember correctly. I think I had
Right,
to
yeah.
have like way more pencil marks before I got that to collapse. So, wow.
All right. Well, yeah, it's a 6 by 6, so you can
Yeah.
probably...
It's always fun learning how my puzzles like should be solved
This is now
from
2
people that
plus
can actually
4.
do Sudoku.
Okay, 5 is 4 plus 1. This is, if it's 3, it needs to be 1 plus 2. If it's 5, it's 3 plus 2. That doesn't work by Sudoku, so we have a 1 and a 3. 5 here by Sudoku. 3, 4 by Sudoku. This is 2 plus 3, so that's 5. Now that's solved by Sudoku. Oops. Okay, 4, 6, 1 to 4. I was trying to see if I can solve it without the last clue, but that's not the case, I think. Oh, it is, maybe. Yeah, it is. Nice. Okay, cool.
Wow, very fast. GG, speeding through.
Yeah,
Pausing for a
so.
second because lots of stuff going on in chat.
All right.
Too much to summarize. But someone asked. It was Talkat again. Asked about like what's the interest in setting this kind of puzzle pack for me, and I just think they're really fun. I like the idea of like show don't tell. So mostly I try to set puzzles with really simple rule sets. Like the ideal optimal puzzle for me would be like 10 words of rules, you know, including Sudoku rules apply. That would be amazing. And then like one type of clue. But this is kind of a nice opportunity to set things with more complex rule sets without having to have long rules, right? If you just don't tell people the rules, there's no long rules. But of course, that does mean you have to show, like by example, how things work. And I think that's hard to do well. But if it's done well, it's a lot of fun. And a lot of the games, the puzzle games that I play, maybe like video games, puzzle video games, are a lot like this, where they just don't give you any instructions and they drop you in, like The Witness or Patrick's Parabox or Stephen's Sausage Roll or games like that. So I really enjoy those, but I hadn't seen a lot of it in the Sudoku world. So yeah, I really like exploring that. It takes a lot of testing though, and a lot of like the first versions of these puzzles are a confusing mess, and people are confused, and you have to iterate and iterate and iterate. But yeah, I do really enjoy them setting them. Hopefully, that was a understandable answer. But
Yeah, that
any,
makes sense, I think. And yeah, I think it's interesting because I've solved a lot of puzzles from the old LMD years, like also puzzles that were published before cracking the cryptic became a big thing, where it
yeah,
was a sort of the old community, and they also have a lot of puzzles where like they have instructionless puzzles without rules, and also they have some puzzles where the rules are just given in a
they're
sort of
cryptic.
story, and
Yeah,
you're they're not specific, like it's kind of like a mix, right? Like you get some information, but it's not 100% clear what exactly the rules are.
yeah. I've looked at a couple of
um
those, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's not a new idea. I tend to be pretty intimidated by the ones that I have seen on LMD from
mm,
way back. Like I'm sure once you get it, but they're a little scary for me, and I try to make these a little more approachable to ordinary
yeah, I
humans.
think that's what I was gonna say. Like they feel very different from this one so far, because they're usually a lot more cryptic, and some of them require knowledge about certain things that you just need to know,
Yeah,
like certain
Mar-
puzzle genres.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Marty Sears made a comment about this. So Marty made a puzzle pack called Myriapods. It's really really good puzzle pack. Very same ish structure as this. Um,
Mm,
and he said he had kind of a rule that he needed at least 3 examples in the grid of any new constraint that were like fully filled in by Sudoku.
right.
And that's a good rule of thumb. Yeah, just have enough have enough examples of the clue. In this case, it's these little circle dudes. That's the only one we've seen so far, right? But have enough examples of them to kind of cover all the edge cases and also rule out alternative hypotheses, because you don't realize when you're constructing these puzzles, but people can come up with like different theories about what the clues mean. And if you don't set the puzzle right, their different theories are not disconfirmed. Like they look plausible. And you're like,
Right.
oh shit, I didn't realize there was another interpretation. And then you have
Mm,
to add another example, right, to rule out that theory. And then someone else makes another theory. And you're like, oh, okay, let me add another example. And hopefully,
yeah.
after all the testing, you end up with something that only has one hypothesis that works.
I have one very interesting thing to say about that before we move on. Like,
Okay.
I've actually solved a puzzle um, on LMD, but I don't remember actually which one it was. there wouldn't be a point in telling anyway which one, because it ruins the surprise. But basically, it was
Sure.
like an instructionless puzzle where you have an example grid given that's completely filled out, and you are supposed to
Mm.
look at the image to figure out the rules. Um, but it was made in a way to trick solvers, because if you looked at the image, it looks like the rules are doing something like quite obvious. But if you try to apply those rules to the main puzzle, it wouldn't give you anything.
Oh,
And
that's
then
evil.
it turns out that when you actually solve the example puzzle, um, you figure out that if you assume those obvious rules, you can't do anything there too. So by solving it, you actually figure out that the rule is something different, which is way more cryptic, and
That's
that
really
then lets you
interesting.
solve the example uniquely. Um,
Yeah, there was a pencil puzzle pack like this called, I think it was called From Muddled to Clean, or From Murky to
mhm,
Clear or something, and it used uniqueness repeatedly. It was the same thing where it's like if you have the right rule set, all the puzzles will solve uniquely, and if you don't have the right rule set, they won't. And you
mm,
use that like repeatedly to try to figure out the rules. I really liked that one. This sounds like a more evil version of
mm.
that
I've
what you're
also
describing.
solved that, what you just mentioned. It's a great puzzle.
From
Yeah.
muddled to clean, yeah, FMTC. Very cool. All right. Well, I'll stop distracting you. Hey, you're back out to the root puzzle.
Yeah. So
We have a
we've got a
digit.
4 here now.
Fantastic.
Um, I'm not gonna. I mean, I could try to now, if I can get some more digits, but I will not do that. Like, let's just not fool around. Let's just move on to the next set of linked puzzles here. Maybe if I have 3 of the 4 rule sets unlocked, I'll try to, if I can get something without the 4th one, just for
Oh,
fun.
interesting. Okay.
Uh, okay, so now I guess we're going to learn about what the squares do. I'm just going to click through until I reach an ending here. Seems like this one is the first in this chain. And now it's time for some classic Sudoku, so you can talk a bit about something if you want while I scan here.
Yeah, various people in chat that are streamers or YouTubers are all agreeing that they like short rules because getting long rules to fit into their recording window is a hassle. Yet another
Right.
reason to avoid long rule sets, I guess.
Okay. Looks like this one will be done quickly as well. 3 and 5. Okay. And then a 2 and a 1. Okay, it looks like we're at the deadly pattern again.
That was fast.
And okay, yeah, so this is actually what I should have said it, what I guessed these would do. Since the circles were the sum, this seems to be the difference of the 2 digits that it points to. So yeah, now this 2 is the difference of 6 and 4. This 4 is the difference of 5 and 1. Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, to make this one work now, we can't have these have a difference of 4, so it's going to be a difference of 2. And indeed, that works with this becoming a 3.
Very
Okay,
nice.
so that's that one. And now we're going to carry over the 3 here. And let's have a look at this. Okay. So difference is, of course, immediately a bit harder to think about than sum. Probably, yeah, because I'm used to. I mean, the sum is basically just like arrow logic from regular constraints. Actually, difference is 2. Basically, if we like, the way to think about it is that we have 3 cells, like let's say this one and those two, and it's just an arrow, but the bulb is in one of the 2 cells that are
Oh,
pointed at.
nice. That's a super nice short trick, like mental trick for converting these into something that's way easier to think about. I'm
Yeah.
impressed that you found it so quickly.
So basically, yeah, if I look at these 3 cells, it's either the 3 is the bulb, then these are a 1 and a 2, or this is the sum of those two. Uh, yeah, so I can
Yeah,
immediately see that this digit is now not higher than 3, for example.
yeah, that's an
Um,
incredibly useful trick. Because and I think it's because addition, like doing addition in your head, is so much easier than subtraction. I'm not sure why, but
yeah,
thinking about these as like three cell summation arrows is so much easier than thinking about them as minuses.
so for example, I can see now, which I couldn't have seen without thinking of it that way easily, is that if the 3 is the sum of one of these, like let's say this is a 3, this is a 1-2 pair, then I break this because now these are from 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can't make one of those digits be the sum of the other two because they're too big. Without a 1 or 2 in there, I can't make it work, right? So the 3
Yeah,
can never be the sum. So this digit is actually the sum of those two, and this is the sum of these two. And then, of course, they can't be 6 because I can't do 3 plus 3 by Sudoku. So this is all forced that way.
very cool. Chameleon
And
asks if there's a secret puzzle if you do the dance that the little shapes are doing, but no, there's no like DDR Konami code hidden in these. Unfortunately, I wish I were that clever, but
right, that would be, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to do the dance properly. So I'm very bad at dancing. So I'm glad
and
that's not the
you're just not
case.
pointy enough. You need to be really pointy sideways and then top down.
Right. Okay, so I can never put 6 in a square because, as I've said, like, I mean, can't do a difference of 6 in 6 by 6 Sudoku. Um, and or thinking about it as the arrow, like the arrow would have a 6 on it. So 6 is here, 6 is there. Um, okay. So 6, if 6 is pointed at, it's always the sum. So these two sum to 6 for that square. Um, these two sum to 6. And those two, that's not too useful. It's not 3, 3, I guess. So these are also from 1, 2, 4, 5, which actually puts a quadruple here. I could
Mm-hmm.
start coloring these 1, 2, 4, 5s, but I don't know if it will be necessary. Let's see. Um, So one of these is a 1, 2, because this is summing to 6 by this square. So this 3 can't be the bulb here. Like, these can't be a 1, 2 pair. So this is the sum of those two. I think this 4, 5, or 6. That still doesn't quite do something here. Okay, maybe I will have to color the... Yeah, like, okay. So these two sum to 6, I know that. I make those green. And since these two sum to 6, well, they're not the same as these because this is in the same box. So we can make those purple.
Very nice.
And now I know that this purple digit is not in green. So this goes here. And that becomes a 3. Now these two become green. This is purple. Now these two, well, I know that this one too is either green or purple. It's gonna force, well, no, that doesn't tell me anything actually. I was gonna say that tells me this is 4-5, but that's not true. This could be the 1-2, and these are 4-5 pair. That's no problem. Wait, did I have any other sixes? No. Okay. Right. So if, okay, that's a bit tricky. Like if I make this 6, then this is 3 by Sudoku, and then this has to be 6 to be the sum of those two. So that doesn't work. So this has to be 6.
Oh, that's a nice way of
Um,
saying it. Yeah,
and
very
now
very
these two are
efficient.
both 3 to sum to 6. We have purple here. Okay. So can I do something with 3s then? No, they're just, yeah. Okay. See, I'm definitely struggling a lot more with this than with the
This is a
sum.
harder grid. I think this is probably the hardest puzzle in the pack, if that helps.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not super hard, but it's definitely trickier than the others have been so far. So let me just. These are all 1, 2, 4, 5. I'm just marking that to see if I'm missing a simple Sudoku thing here. I don't think I am. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, this one just works.
No hints from chat so far, unfortunately.
Oh, of course, this sum now. This 6 is summing those two. This is a purple. Yeah, it's easy to miss these. So these become green. And because this 6 is also summing those two, this is purple as well. This is green. Okay, and now we can do some eliminations here.
Nice.
Because there's 1, 4, 5 and 1, 1, 2 in green, of course. Now this cell
Yeah,
sees both
Chat is saying
purple.
they've seen you solve so many puzzles. They're just not even bothering trying to help because they know that you've
Right,
got it.
fair enough. So these are two different purple digits because they are summing to 6. So this digit sees both of them by Sudoku. That's green,
Oh,
which
cool.
is
Okay,
not the
yeah,
one I wanted it to be because this one too is also one of those, and I still can't figure out which one it is. I probably can figure this out now because I know that this digit is 3 plus that one. So these two do not sum to 6, right? Because 5, 1, 3 doesn't work and 4, 2, 3 doesn't work. So these two are not both green. This one has to be purple. And also that one too, of course, being green makes this one purple, and that one is now green. This looks up here. Now the green 4, 5 in column 3 is up here. So we've got that. And now I should probably think about this sum right here. So obviously if this is the sum, this is 5, 1, 4. And the same is true if that's the sum. Yeah, basically up here, we know one of these is the sum of the other two. And it's never 4 being, it's not 3 being 1 plus 2, it's not 4 being 1 plus 3. So it's always 5 being 4 plus 1. Basically means we have no 2 here, and the 5 is not in the middle. and then this becomes a 2, so now green is disambiguated to be 2 and 4, and we can go with that. And now we're gonna abuse pencil mark checker to finish this.
Very nice.
Or maybe we still have to do some thinking. Let's see. 2, 5, 6. 3, 5, 6. Yeah, looks like this is still not done. So one of these is the sum of the others, but there is a 2 here. And 2 is not the sum, so it's 2 plus 1 equals 3 is the only way it works. Can't use a
Nice.
4. So we have...
Yeah, you can also think about parity, like even odd deductions, but there's just a lot of ways of doing it.
Right.
AGG. Very nice.
Cool. Yeah, parity would be... Yeah, probably if I didn't get a good start on digits, I would have thought about that.
Yeah, but
But for now, it wasn't
coloring was a
needed.
good idea there. That did worked really well for you.
Okay,
The
cool.
6 pairs, the pairs that add to 6, was a
So
good strategy.
did you intend this to be solved just with parity coloring, or...
No, no, I did the same thing you did when I was test solving it. But there are some deductions in there that you can use parity for, but clearly you don't have to. There's lots of ways through it.
Right.
But it's true that on a 3-cell arrow, you can make some interesting things about parity, right? Like if you know the parity of 2 of the digits on a 3-cell arrow, then you can get the third one.
Yeah, that's true. And it doesn't even matter which one is the bulb for that, which is the interesting point. So it even
Yeah,
works here.
exactly. Yeah.
Another way to think about it is that the 3 cells, like an arrow is the sum of 2 other cells, then the cells always sum to an even number, right? Because
Oh,
the
that's a
bulb
better
is
way
the
of putting
same.
it. Yeah, exactly. The
Um,
3 cells sum to an even number. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's a good trick with arrows, just in normal arrow puzzles, right? Like the arrow
hmm
always sums to it. The whole arrow clue sums to even. It's a very good thing to know.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the 6 here from the previous grid, and now we can
One
go
of
on to
mine.
the third type of puzzle.
Oh yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, let's go to there. And okay, so now we also have the circles in here as well, but let me go to... I'll just go as far as possible. Oh, there's a lot of puzzles in this.
Yeah, this is a pretty deep one.
Wait, I'll quickly order these in a good way so that I can... Did I... Yeah, I ordered these correctly. Okay.
I just realized the folks in the audience can't see the title of the puzzle, but this one's called "What Goes Up."
Mm-hmm.
It's just not showing on the on the Twitch stream because we're just seeing the grid. But this one is called "What Goes Up."
Okay, I'll try to do as much as possible with the Sudoku here again. So 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 6, 2, 3, 3, 6, 1, 4, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3 pair. We have a 1, 5. And a 2, 3, 4 that goes here. That's a 4. All right, so 1, 6,
It's just insanely
1,
fast.
2,
Oh my
and
god,
3. Okay.
that was like 20 seconds. That puzzle.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, it's just a 6x6 classic with a lot of digits. So
That's true.
okay, so let's see what this is doing. So it looks like... Right, okay. Now this is interesting. So it looks like from the bow, it's shooting the arrow in the direction that the bow is facing, and then the digits are rising along the path until they hit the wall, and then they bounce off. And then when it's going down again, it like the numbers are going down as well. So this is going
Hmm.
up, like a thermal going up and then going down again, and it seems to be going on until it reaches an arrow. So this one as well, or rather this one, and then for this one we actually have to make sure this goes 532. So yeah, here we're learning that it's not a slow thermometer, like they just can't stay the same. They actually have to decrease when going down and presumably increase when going up. So I'll make this 2 and 3 like that.
Very nice. Yeah, you said something really important there. So you'll notice like the setting forces these to not be slow thermos right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you make the assumption they're slow thermos, you can't finish the puzzle. And there's a lot of little things like that, like details like that in the exact setting where you want to rule out other possibilities. And it's tough because when you're setting puzzles, you might not even be thinking about slow thermos like as a possibility, right? But
Yeah.
someone will be thinking about it, and you have to rule it out
Mm-hmm.
as quickly as possible.
Okay, now we'll. Oh, that's interesting. Wait. If I look very closely at this, it looks like the color is different of the lines. Some of these, like the gray is not exactly the same.
Yes,
Is
fading.
that it's fading, right? Yeah, it's getting lighter as it's okay, interesting. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
assuming that doesn't that's just for aesthetics. Um
I won't say anything, but
yeah. Okay, so okay, so it's not when it hits a wall that it turns. It can just turn by itself. Learning that now. So I guess in the later puzzles there were no lines given, so I'll have to draw these lines myself and just have to make sure that they turn once and then hit an arrow. That's what I'm
hmm.
assuming right now. So this is a thermo which is 5 cells long, and the lowest 2 digits can't be a 2. So this is just forced to be 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what else do we have? We have this can't be 1 or 2. Like I'll just pencil mark this is at least 3, at least 4, at least 5, at most 6, at most 5, and at most 4. So we have not many options there. We also know this digit in this box can't go here by Sudoku, can't repeat on its thermo, and can't be 1. So that
Very
goes
nice.
here. 1 is there by Sudoku. Yeah, also another yeah, so the way these work, because the highest digit is always at the topmost cell, and then going down it's never like the highest digit is always at least 3, I guess, because it always sees 2 cells that are lower than it, like to its bottom left and bottom right. um just something that might be relevant later. And if that's 3, we would have to go 2, 1. No, I suppose that's still possible. This one, so these cells have to be lower than that. Like, since that's at most 5, these aren't 5 or 6. Now we have 6 in this box. Can't go here by Sudoku. Can't go here because that's lower than this digit. So get a 6 there. This
Oh, nice
also
spot.
can't be 6. Partway along an arrow or path, or I'll call them thermos probably because I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Um, Now we have 1-4 pair here, but if this was 4, we would have to go 4, 5, 6. Doesn't work by Sudoku. So we have that. So, and then a 2, 3, 5 triple. Okay, I'm assuming that a lot of this is going to be Sudoku. Let's see. That's a 5. Okay, 5 here means this is lower, so it's going 4, 3. That's a 2. Okay, and pencil mark checker is helping here. One, two, four triple. That's a 3. 1 here, and it's done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cool.
wasn't. You got the extracted cell a little earlier than the end of the solve, and I tried to prevent that. Like I try to make it the last thing you get, but unfortunately with Sudoku, the last 7 or 8 digits you can do them in any order. Sometimes even more digits than that, and
Yeah.
but hopefully people will just finish the grid because they want to be
Mm-hmm.
completionists.
Okay, so we're putting the 5 into the next grid, and then all right, and now it looks like we'll have to draw the paths. I'm also assuming that it's gonna be one, like, yeah, one, like each bow and arrow have to be used exactly once. That just makes the most sense. So this one, like, we can always start drawing these, and I guess we can also start drawing the arrows, and then this one's already joined up. Now if I drop this one here, I can't reach a bow, so it has to extend. Same for this one, it can't drop here, so it has to extend. And yeah, now I can just see this one can only reach there just from the, yeah, like you can even deduce it from the direction these are facing. Like a bow facing top left is always going to an arrow facing bottom left. So could have told that these line up from the beginning. And we have it like that. Now, is it better if I... No. So I will use this kind of gray to draw it. Okay, cool. And now I've broken the puzzle.
Yeah, this looks a little bit broken.
Oh yeah, I know. Just because, see, I've made an assumption there. Just because these met doesn't mean that they connect. Okay, that's good. I fell for that one. So yeah,
Yeah,
these
but
can
I'm glad that
cross.
the puzzle like punishes you immediately. I always hate when I make a bad assumption and I find out when the grid is like 90% full that I have to rewind
Mm-hmm.
to the beginning. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but this one still can't extend. It can't reach any other arrow. So this is correct. But yeah, this one can't drop here because it can't reach anything. Now it goes on, and then now because that's a 5, this has to be higher. And now we have to drop because we've reached a 6. And now the rest is still forced. Okay. Neat. Yeah, now I will just, like with thermos, I definitely tend to pencil mark a lot because I can immediately see like this one not being 5 forces these to be only 2 options, and now we have to go lower here as well, so we have to go like that. Now this is a 2-3 pair, which is gonna make this a 4.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, like if
That
you just look at one half of the line, it looks like it could be a 3, but
Yeah.
it doesn't work, right? Because both lines coming down would conflict by Sudoku. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice trick with
Yeah, so
these
1,
with
2,
these
3
arrows.
triple. Okay, so these cells are at least 3 and 4 now because these are 1-2 pairs, so that's 5 or 6. So 1 in this row is now here, which means that's a 2, that's a 1. Get all of this by Sudoku. 2, 3 goes up. So we have it like that. And then going down again. I mean, this is 2, 3, 4. This is at least 3. This is at least 4. Okay, looking good. 1, 2, and 3. Right, 1 is here. I should do more Sudoku. 3, 4 pair in the column. Okay, now let's see. It's getting. Oh, it's a 2, 3 pair in the column, which is resolved. Oh yeah, that's just a 4, 5, 6 triple here as well. So that's a 3, that's a 2. All right, 1, 4 and 5, 6 here. That can't be. Okay, now we have to grow to go up. So 5 goes into 6. All right, and 4, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, should be GG.
Done. All right, so
Very
2,
nice.
6, and 3. Neat.
Oh yeah, I do want to pause for a second to answer a question in
Mhm.
chat because I think both Talpat earlier and James Sinclair have asked about the setting process for these packs and specifically about whether they're set bottom up or top down,
Mhm.
right? And it is mostly bottom up, so I'm usually trying to think of like a set of constraints that make sense thematically. Like I'll start with the theme and think about some fun constraints that could be represented visually in an interesting way to create kind of a thematic world. Like this one's very like black and white cartoon shapes, right? Having a fight with each other. So that kind of dictates like some constraints, and then I'll play around with those constraints and see if you can make a solvable puzzle just with that constraint. Like all the constraints you've seen so far are well, actually, this one has yeah, all the constraints you've seen so far work by themselves. Like it's a single variant puzzle, right? So that's kind of a required element. And yeah, I will start bottom up and then sometimes also top down. So I'll think about like, would it be fun to use all these constraints together in the bigger grids that when they come together? And what's nice about the extracted cell, you got a 2 on the screen, right? In row 2,
Mhm.
I could have changed that to a different cell. So when you're making the outside puzzle that this feeds into, I can say, I can basically pick what given I want. I have a little bit of flexibility. Like, oh, I'd like to have a given 4, and I can go back downstairs to this puzzle and say, all right, I'm just going to put that extract symbol in a different place. It just has to be a digit that you get pretty late, right? It can't be a digit you get right away, but there's lots of digits you get late. So I can kind of say, all right, I don't want a given 2, I want a given 3 for this outer puzzle. And so sometimes I'll change that aspect of the lower puzzle after making the bigger puzzle. So it's both directions, but mostly yeah, bottom up. I will. This is a slight spoiler, but like one of the other packs like this, Pale Fire has weird recursive loops. Like it's not acyclic. It's highly cyclic. So this is a tree, right? But some of the other ones are cyclic graphs, and that was a whole other thing. But usually bottom up is the answer, the long answer to that question.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But yes,
interesting.
GG
I think
arrows.
I would always start with the big puzzle first if I was setting something like this,
Yeah.
and then make the smaller puzzles to sort of tutorialize the constraints, I think. But
I mean that's a good approach too, but then what if you find out that one of your constraints is not that much fun to set with by itself, you know? Like you
yeah,
can use
fair,
givens. You can use givens, but um
fair.
I'd love to see a Myxo mystery puzzle pack. That would be very intimidating but also exciting.
I could try, yeah, but it would probably be, yeah, I would probably make something hard. Like I
It
can't.
requires a lot of testing. And you have to be really careful not to help your testers, because like if a tester
Mm,
gets stuck and you give them hints and then they finish it, it's not a valid test solve at that point. You know what I mean?
yeah, fair.
It's these are so hard to test properly, but they're very rewarding. So hey, there you go, easy arrows.
Yeah, so here I think this is just forced by the directions. So this is
I do
mostly
like how
gonna be.
concerned the little fellow in row 6 looks. He just looks a little bit like, they don't
Yeah,
have very good aim. They just don't know what they're doing.
uh-huh. All right. So yeah, let's think about this. So this is the sum of two things, but it's also lower than this cell. So this is at least 3, but not 6. This one's at least 4. And it can't be 4 because then these both would have to be 3. Because this would have to go 4, 3, 2, 1. And this would also be 3. So this is 5 or 6. And these, but this cell is even bigger than that one. So we get 6 and 5 here. And that becomes a 1. And now this 3 and 4 sum needs a 1, which has to be there. That cell's 2 or 3. This digit goes here. We get 2, 3, 4 here. So that's a 6. Right, this is 3 or 4 as well. It can't be lower than that because of these two cells. Like I can just pencil up this thermo.
Sorry, I have to read a comment from chat. Sarah says the R6 boy looks like he's trying to dab, but he can't because his arms are too short.
Yeah, true. So 3 has to go up into 4. And this gets resolved. Okay. 4, 6 pair here. 4, 5, 6. So up here we have a 1, 3 pair. And 1 has to grow up. So need a 3. This has to be higher than 3. Now 3 in box 2 is placed. Okay. Now this is lower. Well, that doesn't look too hard to do. Just can make it 6. We also can make this 5, because then that's 6 and that's 6.
Hmm.
So that's a 1, 2.
Nice thermo logic there.
Okay, 2, 5 pair. All right, I forgot. I was thinking this doesn't look solvable, but I forgot that this circle exists. I just didn't see it. So this is just 6, because it can't have a 6 in the sum. So 6 is 4 plus 2. And now it's probably gonna solve rather easily. 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, that's a 3. It's not 4. There's a 4 up here. 1, 4, 5. Yeah, this is doing things. Okay, cool.
I have a question for
So
you, Myxo, actually. So
yeah.
you might have noticed these don't strictly increase in difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some slightly easier ones, some harder ones, but they're not really sorted from easy to hard. And I'm wondering what you think about that as a solver.
Yeah, hmm. I mean, I don't really mind. I think they've all been like, yeah, that one has been a bit more tricky where you needed the coloring, but they've all been quite approachable. So I don't, yeah, like I don't really notice much difference between most of these, but
Okay,
yeah, I
that's good to
think
hear.
in general, I don't. I think if you're solving multiple puzzles in a row, it can be fun if it's a bit of a surprise element how hard they are too. Like you don't always get the strictly increasing difficulty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree because if you know they're just going to get harder and harder, it's a bit intimidating as well, right? Like you're like, oh my god, I have to solve the next puzzle. It's going to be harder, but this is a bit of a
yeah,
surprise, I suppose.
yeah. Okay, so gonna put the 6 in here. Now, how is it looking time-wise, actually? Do I have time to try around with this a bit and see if I can get anything without
I think a little
the
bit of
last
time, yeah.
room?
If you want to take 5 minutes and do that, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay, because I think the only thing we're missing are these thin arrows. Um, yeah, so we can probably do a lot here already, right? Let's see. So we have the arrows. There's only 3 of them. Now by the checkerboard, these are all okay. That's okay. So yeah, these are all on the same checkerboard of cells, which means that these can connect anyway. Like each each of these bows can connect to each of these arrows. So that makes it a lot trickier than before, for sure. So I can't do something immediately with those. I mean, I know that, of course, these have to extend at least until they reach the first arrow here. And it's also true for these, but from here I don't really know how to connect them up. Which doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really matter for the thermo logic, because this is still, even if these don't end up connecting like this, these are still valid thermos.
That's true.
So I can just pretend they connect for now. Okay, let me see if I can. So I mean, this cell is double that. We can give the
Yeah,
4
I found a
options
virtual
maybe.
black Kropke dot.
Yeah. Just trying to see if is there anything. Yeah, it's a bit tricky because there aren't that many clues compared to the 6x6s where there were, considering it's a small grid, a lot of clues, right? Here it's not necessarily the case, so I'm assuming that most of like that this won't be giving much information without knowing what the last clues do. Let me try just a little bit. So this is a difference of these two. So I guess that's at most a 5 difference. But this can't be 9 actually, because can't have a difference of 9. So this can't have a difference of 5 either.
Hmm.
So now we can check these. Like if this is 1, this is either 3 or 5, but can't be 5 because then the 1 with the difference of 5 would make this a 6, which it can't be. So like 1, 3, 2, 6 doesn't work, and 4, 2, 2 doesn't work. So this isn't 2. And if it's 3, we can't go to 7 because then we need these to have a difference of 7, but one of them is a 3, which doesn't work. So this is actually a 1-3 pair. Okay,
Wow. Nice.
can get that. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I can get stuff here. Um, Yeah, so 1, 3 would make this 2, and 3, 1 would make this 4, which doesn't work. Yeah, if that's 3, that's 1. Difference of 3 with a 1 in it has to be 1, 4. So 1 and 3. And then difference of 1 here can't be 4, so this is 2.
Yeah, nice. That's that's not trivial to find that.
Yeah, now I'm now my curiosity is wanting me to go on like this, because it's kind of funny if I can solve a lot of this without using the last rule. So why not? Unless people are complaining and just asking me to solve this intended, then
A few people have just asked, like, "Wait, Aren't we missing a constraint?" And but yeah, Myxo knows that.
yeah, I know. I'm just having some fun with this. Um, I mean, this is progress that we can use later anyway, once we have the last constraint. We'll already have this in the grid. So if this isn't 2, it's quite forcing for the thermal, but not too forcing, actually. Don't think that's helping. This being low by the thermal and low as a difference is not that much of a... Like, you're always trying to look for things that are forcing, right? This cell is low for 2 reasons. Like, difference wants to be low, and for the thermal it wants to be low, so it's not very interesting. Yeah, not very interesting to look at. Same for this, for example. This is contributing to a lot of sums, which makes it probably low, but the thermal also makes it low. And then same for all of these. So actually, yeah, this is not super helpful, I think, this part at the moment. And this
Yeah,
is
that's
okay.
a nice
So
heuristic. You want to look for a cell that's constrained like up by one type of clue and down by another. It's a good general trick.
mhm. So this is the difference of these two. So that's not a 6 as well. And now the difference is even, of course. So if that's a 2, that's 4. If that's a 4, that's 2. And if it's 8, it's 2 as well. So this can't be 4, because that makes both of these 2.
Hmm.
4 is double 2, and also the difference with 6. Um, and yeah, no, yeah. Now this works. One of these is 2. One of those is 4. Can't be 1, 2, 8. So this isn't gonna do
Michigan
anything.
Josh in chat is speculating you're just going to figure out the last rule from this grid without doing the mini puzzles. I kind of doubt
Uh,
that. I actually very much doubt that, but that would be very funny.
I doubt that too. Yeah. If it's, yeah, no, probably not. Okay, there's a 6 here by Sudoku anyway. Yeah, I think I'm giving up soon to try this, because we don't have infinite time, and this is not gonna be that interesting to watch, I think. So let me have a quick think about all these thermos and sums here, if that does anything that I can use right away.
I will say when setting these, it wasn't too hard in this puzzle, but in another pack, Tree of Life, I really had to make sure that the main grid, the root grid, was not
Mm,
solvable unless you knew all the clue types, right? And there's a lot of combinations of clue types you might know because you can do them in any order. And so I
right.
really had to make sure that you couldn't like skip a whole section, even if you had 5 of the 6 or 6 of the 7 clues or whatever. So
Mm.
I did a lot of test solves where I pretended to know, 6 out of the 7 clue types, and some of them did solve the whole grid, and I was like, okay, I have to go back and make this part weaker.
Hmm.
So it's
Okay.
definitely a consideration.
All right. Yeah, I can't immediately think of something here, so I'll just go to the last clue tutorial. I will say if I had to guess what these arrows do, they're gonna count something in that direction,
Hmm.
like how many instances of something, maybe like pairs of cells or something, some relationship, like something like how many white dot relationships are there or something. I could imagine that, and then this is forced to be a one because it's only has like one space. So maybe something like that's gonna be it. Let's see. Um,
Yeah, I like that these packs like there's hypothesis testing, right? Like you come up with hypotheses and you just want to go and discover if they're correct or not.
okay. Well, this now looks like something completely different. Interesting.
So for those who missed it, the title of this one is Roman numerals. I'll try to remember to say the title for each puzzle as you get to it, since it's not on the screen.
Right, yeah. Okay, so the classic Sudoku is happening again. 1 or 2, 5, 6. I'm trying to not pencil mark. Let's see. I don't know why. I just pencil mark. Whatever. 5 and 4.
Yeah, just use the really big pencil marks that take up the whole cell. Those are the good kind.
Yeah. 2 is there, of course. 3 and 6. Oops, not nines.
Well, 3 and 6 does add to 9. So
Yeah. 1, 2 pair. 3, 5, 6, and 1, 3, 6. Okay, but now we have a problem because now we don't know what these do. Okay, let's see. Um,
Chameleon is speculating the red cross could mean that the given digit is not correct, which would be incredibly mean if that were true.
right.
I'll have to remember that one.
So Roman numerals is the name of this one. Okay, this seems to be by far the hardest constraint to guess what it does. I mean, I'm seeing. Okay. No, it's not that hard. It's just that the cells pointed to sum to 10. I was I was trying to see what the digit in the middle of the cross did, but it does nothing. Like it's just about these cells. Like this cross points at those four, these sum to 10. This one points at these two. So those have to sum to 10, these sum to 10, and those two, and so on. That seems to be it, and it makes perfect sense. With the name Roman numerals as well, with these being X, so 10.
Beautiful.
All right. So we're taking the 3 to the next one. Okay, and now, so that constraint seemed to be just there for this, and now we're gonna get digits in the arrows. That's kind of interesting. Like, what made you decide to put like an extra constraint in this like series of tutorial puzzles?
I
Is
think
there a
I'm
specific
not going to
reason?
say anything until you see the next puzzle after this one, and then I think you'll know the answer.
Okay,
But it's a good
interesting.
question.
So yeah, if we have two cells in a 6 by 6, that's sum to 10. And they're not the same digit, they're just 4 6 pairs. Um, okay.
Talcott says it's an extra constraint. Har har har. Love the
Right.
dad jokes.
So, all right, this is cool. So for these two, there's actually the, like, you consider the sum of both, which is 20, like these 4 cells plus those 4 cells. And now we have 20, but 4 cells that see each other sum to at least 10 by being 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are just both 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruples,
Beautiful.
which gives us 5 6 pairs here, which looks over to these cells, and those look here. Okay, now this being 5 or 6 means these are at most summing to 5. So these two cells are from 1 to 3, and this is from 1 or 2. And also these need a repeated digit, so this cell has to repeat there, and that not 3. Now, yeah, I think that's all I can do there for now. So okay, I can see this constraint is gonna be how many steps away I have to place an X.
Hmm.
That's interesting. But let's see if this solves without that information. Um, that's a 4 by Sudoku. This 5 6 goes here. It's a 5. 1 2 pair. 5 and 6. So these sum to 4. So that has to be 1 1 2. That's the only way. Um,
There are comments in chat about the X's seeming to be fading or having differing opacity.
hmm,
Chameleon speculates that a hardly visible X should sum to about 6 because it's not quite 10. We'll see if
right.
that bears out.
I think it's more like just how far away they are from the. Well, not exactly, because this one's less far away than this one. But this one seems more faded.
Is it less?
Like this is 3 steps and this is 4.
Ah, yeah.
So, but this one's more faded. So I guess it's not. But this one's the most faded and it's the furthest away from the clue. So maybe. Um, okay, 1 2 3 6. That's a 6. 1 2 3 here.
Michigan Josh in chat
Um,
says all X's are given, but some are invisible. I like
right.
that. Yeah, I do like total constraints where you just say, but some of them are invisible.
Yeah. Okay, and now we have to use that this is a 2, I think. Like clearly, so these go like this 3 means we go 1 2 3 steps and there's an X center. And then 1 2 3 4. And this one goes 1 2. So that's a 2. Now one thing I wonder, um, is because like there can be X's outside the grid, right? Like this X over here is only poking into the grid. So I wonder if there could be a clue pointing at that, but placing it outside of the grid.
Hmm.
So like if this was like if that 5 had an arrow to the left, 1 2 3 4 5, indicating that X, I guess I will figure out later if that's the case or not somehow. And then obviously, yeah, I'm assuming that it's not gonna be like if the 6 had an up arrow, and that would mean that there's an X like somewhere off the grid 6 steps, which doesn't like I'm assuming that's not gonna be a thing.
Well,
So
if there were, it would sum to 0 for sure,
right,
because
fair
there's just no
enough. Yeah.
digits way up there.
Okay. But yeah, so for now, I am not assuming that the X's have to be inside the grid that are indexed by the arrows. Okay, so we have to transfer a 1 into the next puzzle.
Oh,
Okay.
wrong place, wrong place.
Oh, yeah.
You're
And
not the first
now,
person to do that, actually.
right, and now we have one X that's still barely visible. So they're just fading away over time, I think, in these puzzles.
Does this answer your question about why there's an extra constraint?
Yeah, it does. So this X means these are a 4-6 pair. And now, even if this arrow could place an X outside, like if this could be a 2, placing the X here outside, it still doesn't work because these two can't sum to 10. So this is a 1, indexing this faded X. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, can't be a 6. That doesn't make any sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we have... how
You could
will I
also just
mark?
click if you click the cell where the X is, yeah, that
Right,
works too.
that makes sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this being 6 doesn't make sense. So we'll do it like that. This for completion. Now, let's see. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it could actually be 5. Like, let's see if it can place the X outside, making these 6, 4. Well, it's not a 3, because these cells certainly sum to more than 10. It's not 4 either, because these don't sum to 10. There's no 9 in this puzzle. Yeah, so I guess 2 is still possible. I don't see why not. How about this digit? 2, 3, 5. 2 is impossible. These don't sum to 10. 3 could be possible. And 5 isn't possible because these don't sum to 10. So this is a 3. And now we have those 4 digits. Okay. Interesting. This one, 2, doesn't work because 6 plus 2 plus 3 is already too high. 1, 2, 3, this could work, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But these two can't sum to 10, so that's a 3. So we've got that. This is still possible, I think. Okay, this is definitely also kind of a tricky one to scan, I think, for
Yeah.
the access. Okay, let me try to...
I have found that, like, so I make up a lot of new constraints for my puzzles, right? And I have found the ones that are most popular are just something that's almost exactly killer cages. Like, if you can come up with a way to make a constraint that's basically a summation arrow or a killer cage, people seem to really like it. Just adding small numbers together, people really love that.
Right.
I was kind of
Yeah, that's
surprised because it seems not that original, but those are the most popular ones.
right. So it turns out what I was missing was that I had this 4 here that just puts an X there. And now it's a lot easier to solve because yeah, the X's
Definitely.
on the edge are powerful in 6x6 because they just place a 4 and 6.
Exactly.
Whereas in the 9x9, that's gonna be a lot less helpful actually, because they're gonna just sum to 10. Like there's a lot of ways to sum to 10 in 9x9.
Yep.
But the X's in the middle are gonna be more interesting for the 9x9 actually. It's kind of interesting. Like some constraints are really different in 6x6 and 9x9.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, XV is very different in a 6x6 for
Mm-hmm.
exactly this reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
really, seven sums would be the most analogous, right? Like X's in a 9x9 would be like a seven clue in a 6x6.
yeah.
One more than the n, one more than the size of the grid is the most flexible.
Okay, so I will have to figure out if I can rule out this being 5. Because it actually works. Like if the X is outside the grid, maybe this is the puzzle that teaches me that that's not allowed. Did I miss any? Oh yeah, this one. These sum to 2, so these sum to 8. So those are a 3-5 pair. So there's a 2 here. A 3-5 pair. These include a 5. There's a 5 here. So this can't be a 5.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I don't think it does anything. And these summing to 10. I mean, these two are even. They're either 4, making this 6, 1-5 pair. Or these are 6, making those a 1-3 pair. So these are also 1-3-5. And since these include a 1, yeah, those also include a 1. But, oh yeah, so that's a 6. Okay, let's see. Do we get... So these... I realize I'm probably making this way more complicated than it needs to be. I'm probably just supposed to put a 2 here, but... Wait a second. So these include 2 1s, 1-3, and 1-5. Again, that makes a 5 sort of virtual X-wing with this 5. So there's 1-5 here, and there's 1-5 here. So there's no 5s here. So now okay. I'm sorry. Okay, this has to be done now. Like I can see these digits are all connected. Like for example, these two cells are now a 2-3 pair
Hmm.
because of this is a 2-5 pair. This is a 3-5 pair. So there's exactly 1-3 in those cells and 1-2. So these are a 2-3 pair. Means that's not a 3. That's not a 3.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah.
Can this... Yeah, so this is clearly just 2-2-5 for this X to work. If I make this 5 though, no, because if I make this 5, this X, just this outside X already works, is a problem. So I can't make it break that way. It has to break by the clues that are already in the grid if it does break at all. And I think it doesn't.
So
Fortunately.
Timotab in chat pointed out that the
Oh
previous
no.
puzzles had no spears pointing off the grid.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean there can't be, in
Hmm.
theory. But I just noticed that ruling out 3 from these cells actually did something because I know there's 2 1s, 1-3, 1-5. So I can't make these the ones now because these would both be 5. So these are ones.
Very nice.
I can place that. These are 3-5 pair. Yeah, but now I maybe can get this to 2 options if I really want to try. Because yeah, this can never be 5, because if that's 5, that's 2. And then these 4 sum to 10, so that's 2 to 5. So this 2 or 3. And now it's done. Now it's down to a deadly pattern.
Is
Yeah,
this
now
just two
it's down to
solutions? I think
deadly
this is
pattern.
just two solutions.
Yeah, it is. It is. So now I can say that by assuming like before where I saw that, oh, it's not unique if I assume slow thermo. Now I can see it's not unique if I assume that the X can be outside the grid. So we've proven it.
Wow.
That's
That's
great.
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that there's a way to do this rigorously and not just assume it's going to be the same as the previous one. That was cool.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay.
If you're willing to use uniqueness, but I think that's completely fair to use in this type of puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we figured that out. So now the 2 goes in here. And now we have differences and arrows. Okay, that's gonna make the arrows a lot easier because I don't have to worry about putting the X outside the grid, which was very tricky to scan for anyway. I can just treat these as normal, like, the arrow clues that people put in puzzles where it's like, if it's seeing 3 cells, it can't be higher than 3, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or this one's seeing 4 cells, so I can just do it like that.
Yeah, I do like puzzles with indexing, arrows that index the distance of something
Hmm.
because usually you don't need any other kinds of constraints, right? Like it almost doesn't matter what they're indexing because you can look at the geometry of the grid and say this only sees 3 cells, so it's 1, 2, or 3. And from a setting perspective, that's nice because you always know you'll be able to get a unique puzzle with just one constraint. It almost doesn't matter what they're indexing, right? That's just like
Depends.
um,
Unless if you choose very badly, it could be like very hard to put high digits into arrows, and then
that's
maybe
true.
you can make it
Yeah,
so that
eights
it
and
doesn't work.
nines.
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah.
Or you
It's
get
the high digits
puzzles
that get hard to
where
disambiguate.
you like the grid is only arrows and nothing else. And then by the rule set you instantly know there's like one arrow that is at the edge of the grid
That
pointing
is an eight.
into the grid, and then it's an 8.
Yeah. By
Yeah.
uniqueness, you can always place an eight. Yeah, it feels like cheating, but you're absolutely right.
Okay, so let's see. So I'll have to use the differences here, I think. Well, I haven't actually thought about the X's, but yeah, the X's are kind of complicated, so I'll I'll think about differences. We have this pattern again with the 2 difference clues, but this time there's no given digit here, so it's a lot less helpful. Now this can be very high, this can be very low. I don't think this is it. Place to look. Um, oh, I can already see this being interesting together with the sum constraint. If like the X is here and then this was a circle, and then I could like do a sort of set thing where I replace that digit with these 2 and then those sum to 10 or something. But since this is differences, it doesn't
Oh,
quite
yep.
work that way.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so this is actually, well, this one, okay, I should probably think about this one because this is at the edge of the grid. So if I put this X here, this digit is a 10. Or if I put it here, then this digit is an 8, right? If that's a 4, these two would sum to 10. Okay, we'll just go again from here. So yeah, I was looking at this cell, placing the X in this column, and it can't be here because then this cell would be a 10, so that's not 5. And if it was 2 or 4, then the sum would be 2 cells and include a 2, which also can sum to 10. So this is 1 or 3,
Nice.
which means that one of these cells is the X, which means that one of these pairs is 4, 6. So this cell is always 4, 6, and these two aren't. So those are 1, 3, 5.
Very nice. Wow.
And then I noticed that this cell being odd means that one of like these 3 cells, since they have to sum to an even number in total, need 2 odd digits. So these 2 cells are even because that's all the odd digits in the box. And then that's the 4, 6 pair here, making this the X. So that was a very cool sequence of deductions, I think.
Thanks. Yeah, that was one of my favorite break-ins
One up here.
in this pack.
And now these can have difference of 5 because there's a 1 here already. This would have to be 1, 6, so this is a 3. And now these two have difference of 1 because of that clue. So that's a 4, and that's a 6. And difference of 3, well, these just gotta be 2, 5, and that's the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we have... Oh, that's not 2 now, of course, and this is 1, 4, or 6. So difference of 1 would make this 5. Difference of 4 could be 2, 6, or 5, 1. So there's multiple options here. No. Okay, if that's a 1, these have to be 5 and 4, 6. But then the X here is going to be way too big. Because there
Oh,
would
nice
be a
spot.
5 on it and a 4 or 6. So this has to be 4. Yeah, which doesn't disambiguate the difference, but it does place the X here.
Oh, you found out why he dropped his spear there. Seems to have been fragged.
Right. Yeah.
And why everybody else looks kind of angry at row 5, column 3.
Right.
Nobody's
Was that
yeah.
intentional?
Yeah, like nobody has good weapons safety in this puzzle pack. Like they're all just incompetent, I think.
Right. Okay. All right. Now this one I just realized can't be 3 now because we can't have these two sum to 10. That became a 2, which places an X here, which is one of those that doesn't seem to do all that much. Should just place some digits. That's a 6. Anything else? I mean, these are pairs. Oh yeah, that's 3 and 6. Okay, so this X, this includes a 2. If it's 2, 5, we would have 1, 2 here, and if it's 1, 2, we would have summing to 7 here. Okay, I don't immediately see how that helps, but this one as the difference maybe. So the 2 can't be the sum of these two, so this is just the sum of those two. Means that's 3, 4, or 3 or 5. This is 1 or 3, which puts the 4 here. Okay, still not quite seeing it. So these can have difference of 5, of course. since there's no 6. This could still be the sum of these two, though, which is kind of... Yeah, I think this can still be about anything. Oh, wait, that's... Yeah, I should not forget about clues. Like, this 3 has an arrow.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
it's
a
getting...
there's a ads going on right now, by the way. If you want
Okay,
to pause for 5 seconds or something, they're almost
sure.
over actually. Um, before this, folks were speculating about the gray lines in row one, column four,
Right.
but it's just flavor.
Makes sense.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
back. We're back.
we're back. I had missed this 3 with the arrow for a long time. So we have 2 plus 7 plus 1. So this is minimized, like these 4 cells, with a 1 here and a 3, 4 pair. So
Oh,
that's
very nice.
just completely forced. And now it seems like the puzzle is done. Okay,
Hey, look at
very
that.
cool.
Last cell you got was the extracted cell.
Yeah, nice.
So good
And
about
that's a
that.
1. And now I think it's time for the big puzzle, finally.
Nice. Yeah,
Are
there's a
we
lot
still
going
good
on.
on the time? Like, is there a planned end to this? Like, I'm just making sure how fast do I have to solve. Fine, fine. Cool. So we don't have to speed run. We can enjoy the puzzle. Okay. Okay. So now we actually know what these arrows mean. And since I got the 1 and 3, these just let me place an X here, or X's there, which is interesting. So this X sums those cells, these sum to 5, so those sum to 5. And so that digit is like this is less than 5, so it's a 2, and that's a 3. Which now makes this at least 5, so this thermo is quite restricted already. This thermo could even go on, of course, but for now it's forced like that.
Yeah, all your pre-work is paying off now.
This is now, of course, a 1, since I learned it can't go off the grid, the X, so that's a 1, making this a 9, so these two sum to 10. All right. Now what? Let's see. Like, I'm trying to logic. So yeah, I'm assuming this was the intended, or one of the intended places to start here then. Does this X do something? Well, in 9 by 9, the X's in the middle are definitely a lot more restricted, because like these two cells sum to at least 3. So that's at least 6. So this is at most 4. And so those two cells, these also sum to at least 6. So that's at most 4. Now we can see if these can't be both 4s. If they're both 1s, this is a 5. And if they're a 1-4 pair, that's a 2. So yeah, there were not many options for those digits. But this is a sum of two things, so this can't be 1.
Nice.
Which
Yeah, it's funny. There's so many
disadvantages.
constraints applying to the same cell. It's easy to like turn your brain off for one type because you're thinking about a different type of constraint.
Yeah,
But
so that 4 sums those two. Yeah, I did it the complicated way, right? Getting these pairs when I could have just looked at this cell being, yeah, okay.
it works.
That's fine, yeah. Okay, so that's all good, but doesn't give me seem to give me much more at the moment. These two are consecutive. Oh no, that's just a 1 by Sudoku. I like that there's a 1-1-2 sum. That's always fun.
Yeah, someone in chat called that for an earlier puzzle, and they were wrong. But this is the delayed. Yeah, you were right. It just happened later than you thought.
Nice. I don't think I've ever put a 2-1-1 arrow in one of my puzzles,
Really
but I have one with a 7-1-1-5 arrow, which is also a good
nice.
one. I think that.
Yeah, I always love when like the circle of a summation arrow is forced to be really tiny by the stuff on the stem, right? Like normally it's like the circle is putting pressure, it wants to be big, right? And then the stem
Mm-hmm.
has to be small. And it's always funny when Sudoku just reverses that, where you're like, there's no pressure at all, and then you suddenly realize you have to put the smallest possible number, not because it's minimax, but for the opposite reason. So that's
Yeah,
always a
that's
fun
cool.
surprise.
That's cool. Okay, so there's some. I'm doing some Sudoku. I'm mostly ignoring the clues. Like it's hard to focus on everything at once. Like I'm usually looking at one type of clue at once here.
Yeah, it's total chaos.
But it's a great way to make that work because of all the smaller puzzles before. Because if you just made this puzzle and you gave all the rules like standalone, it would be quite a lot of rules to internalize, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Like, I would never want to make that puzzle. That's just like this grid and then writing out all the rules. Like, I would hate that puzzle. But in this context, I feel like it works pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done some puzzles with a lot of rules, but they were they were just like I like to do puzzles sometimes where I have like one of each like standard constraint, something like that can be fun, but
Yeah.
it only works because people already know the constraints.
Yeah, it works for a certain
Um,
audience, right? Like
yeah.
folks that do a lot of variant Sudoku, there's not really much cognitive overhead for them because they already know all of those constraints. But if somebody new to the to variant Sudoku came in, they would be
Hmm.
overwhelmed.
Okay, so I just saw that this cell is forced, like because the difference of these two digits is at most 4, but this cell can't be 1, 2, or 3, so this is just a 4.
Very nice.
We have a 5-9 pair. This can't be 9 for the thermo, so these are placed. And so that cell is not 4 because it's higher than 4. Actually, this is at least 6, this is at least 7. So we have a 4 here by Sudoku. The thermo growage still doesn't seem forced so far, from what I can tell.
Whoever's manning the SudokuCon channel points out a 3-4 pair in box 7 by Sudoku
Yep,
for whatever it's worth.
nice. And also this is a 7-8 pair.
Oh, I guess it's worth a lot
Um,
actually.
yeah. But also I just noticed this digit, the difference here is 2, 3, or 4, but it can only be a 2. So there it is. So that's a 6, which is the least forcing option in this case. 5, 7, 8, 9 triple. This can't be 9, of course, because it's lower than this one. And these two sum to, well, this can't be 8 or 9, and this can't be 5 or 8. And there is a 7 in one of these common trick. Like if you have two options like this, it's 5, 7, or 7, 9. So 7 goes
It's a good
out
way
of
to get a
these.
corner mark. Yeah.
Um, Okay, these two digits are consecutive. Oh yeah, I didn't see. I forgot about that again. Like the one difference means that's not a 3 because this can't be 2 or 4. So we get that. This is by Sudoku 5, 7, 8. Can't be 5 because this is not 4 or 6. So we have a 7, 8 pair actually. See, this is funny. Like when the difference is 1, then it's easy for me to think about it as a consecutive pair.
Right. It becomes a
But if
crop
it
key.
but if it's anything else, like if it's anything higher than 2 or something, I think about it as the sum instead. That's
We can do
okay.
subtraction only if it's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny.
um okay, there's a 5, 8 pair here, so we get 7 and 9. Oh, and that actually is gonna do a lot, right? Because this goes 7, 8, 9 now. Yeah, that's huge.
Oh wow, that was a lot that you got from that. Yeah.
And yeah, because now this has to turn because it reached the 9. So this arrow goes into here. So this one actually has to continue now. And this can't grow again because it can't go 7, 8, 9. There's already a 9 here. So we know that it's like that, the connection.
Very nice. GG
Nice and
arrows.
almost symmetrical if the arrow was here. But it probably can't be. Um, all right, so that's cool. So 3, 4, 5, 6 here. That's just some Sudoku. This is the sum of those two, so that's not 5, that's not 3. One of these is 4. Again, the same trick. Can't be 3, 5, so... Oh yeah, it's also by Sudoku. Already forced, but we have a 3, 4 pair now, making that a 5. 7, 8 pair. Okay, are there actually any clues I'm missing? Like, I'm carefully trying to scan the... I mean, apart from the thermo, I think I've used everything else. I think it's only the thermo and Sudoku left.
I think that's right. Oh, you've
Yeah,
got
this can't
the
be
little
3 by
circle.
Sudoku.
You've got your little circle in row 5 as well, I suppose.
Yeah, but
That's
this
gonna
just works by Sudoku now.
it's gonna work either way.
Because
Yeah.
there is a 4 anyway by Sudoku, so yeah, it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ruled out 3 from here because of the thermo. But I can't make this 6 because then that's 6 as well by Sudoku. So I have to make this 5. And that's gonna fix some stuff here.
Chad is pointing out some of the plot points of this battle, like row 2, column 2 surrendering, and various other stuff
Right.
going on. I'm super happy people are noticing that.
That's cool. Yeah. So
And I
one
guess
thing I've
row 7, column 4 being very happy for, well, I guess now we know why row 7, column 4 is happy. A little bit tragic, but
yeah, okay.
adorable violence.
Yeah. So 3. And then the thermo makes this not 8. So we
Nice, yeah.
are doing it like that. And it's done.
Hey,
Great.
GG. Good time, yeah. Well done. That was a lot of puzzles. Sorry, sorry to hit you with like a giant pack of puzzles, but
No, that's
uh,
fine. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
glad you
One
enjoyed
thing
it. Yeah.
I noticed Yeah, like there's a lot of little interesting steps in this one. Like nothing is very hard or anything, but it's cool how it had a lot of fun steps until the end, um, like the double six stuff. I think I've noticed that with a lot of your puzzles. Like I'm guessing your setting process is very linear. Like you really place the clues one after the other and have a lot of control over the solve path. Is that a correct guess?
Usually, yeah, usually that's the case. And then the trick is, I mean, unless you're using fog of war or something, the trick is to make sure that those later clues don't
Hmm.
mess up the earlier part of the solve, right? Because you can have like a very carefully placed clues that you really need to use these cool deductions, but then 5 clues later you place something that just unbeknownst to you, it just destroys all of that earlier stuff. So the trick is to like not mess up your earlier part of your solve path, intended solve path, and that's very difficult
Hmm.
unless you're using fog of war or something. But for easier puzzles, sometimes it's okay, like that there's multiple paths through it, as long as they're all fun. I
Right.
think this one has some optionality, but it would probably. I did make sure that it's hard to get started if you haven't solved all of the small puzzles. Like each of those given digits does a lot of work, and then the break-in uses like several kinds of constraints.
Hmm. That's cool. Yeah, it's
Like
basically like
in that bottom row, you didn't need the arrows, but I think you needed everything else that you got to get the first few digits.
yeah, it's interesting. It's basically like the textbook way of setting, like that people tell you. Like when you start setting, they're like, yeah,
Like the
just
clue.
place like a
Yeah,
clue and then see everything it does. Like just solve it until you can't do anything, and then you continue like that. And it's funny because I almost never set like that. And seems like
that's
it's
true. Actually, yeah, I
yeah,
have made a couple where it's more global, like complicated global deductions up front. But you're definitely the master of those sorts of puzzles. We have to think about like a large part of the grid to get
yeah.
started. I should try setting more like that. I haven't done very many.
Yeah, like my
Um,
idiot, like the way I set Sudoku is often that I try to use practically every clue for the break in and then
yeah.
do. Yeah, but yeah, it's fun that different
I think it's a
setting
difficulty thing
styles have
too.
that.
Like those puzzles tend to be like 4 and 5 star puzzles, and that's good. I mean, I have enjoyed making those on the rare occasion, but for easier puzzles, I think it might be hard to have an easy puzzle with a huge global like a global break
Hmm.
in. Maybe there is one though. That's actually a good setting challenge. Like if anyone could do it, it's probably you. Like set a 1 star puzzle with a global break in. That would be a fun setting challenge, right? Like an
Yeah.
approachable like global break in puzzle.
Uh-huh.
I bet
Yeah,
it's doable.
two star maybe. A 2 star is possible for sure.
Yeah.
Um
Okay. Sure. 3 star,
yeah.
1 or 2 star.
But yeah, it's
Um,
cool. Like that's what I mean. Like with your setting style, like with the sort of textbook setting style in terms of like placing the clues in order, you get a lot more fun, like small deductions, even
yeah.
towards the end of the solve, which is great. Uh,
Yeah. That is
yeah.
sometimes hard to do as well, though, because sometimes you'll set a break in you really like and a few clues, and then Sudoku, just classic Sudoku, will solve almost all of the grid. And you're like, oh, damn.
Mhm.
Because that means that that's the solve path, right? A few interesting variant deductions, and then 70% classic Sudoku. And so then I have to rewind and make it less powerful, right? Like let's place
Mm.
less powerful clues, which is very counterintuitive because usually I'm trying to place more powerful clues so that there are
Mm.
fewer of them. But again, I guess it depends on what you're going for. Like if you're going for like a miracle grid where there's like 2 clues and the whole thing solves, you need each of them to do so much work. But for something like this, like it's supposed to look like chaos and there's just tons of clues everywhere, and that's
Mm.
totally fine.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like what you said, you want them to be doing work even really late into the solve. And so you need to place actually less powerful clues. that don't get you that much Sudoku, which is weird.
Hmm.
So I just suppose it depends on the puzzle. But
Yeah, very interesting. The that yeah, it's something I should also try to do sometimes. Placing less powerful clues.
right. I
Um,
mean, again, it just depends on who you're making the puzzle for and
mm,
what you want the experience to be like. Obviously, these instructionless ones are kind of a weird edge case, but I really enjoy them, and I think there's like stuff you can do with these that you can't do with a single grid. So, for example, the spears, like the arrows that point to the X's, I think that would be extremely complicated to explain in a single puzzle.
yeah.
But by having the X's be visible and then making them invisible and then adding the spears, like you can kind of build up something that would be kind of confusing
Mm,
otherwise. Um,
yeah. Also, I guess from all of these constraints, the X's seem by far the hardest to set with.
yeah, they were super annoying.
Um, because yeah, like okay, there's not that many in this puzzle, but I think if you were setting a puzzle that only uses that constraint or like uses a lot of it, I think it's gonna become very easy to break and stuff all the time.
I think if you allow the two cell ones, like the ones that are at the edge of the grid, I think you could set a 9 by 9 with just these 10
Hmm.
sum clues. I don't know if it would be any fun, actually, but I think in theory it could be unique, right?
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so.
but I'm not sure I want to make that puzzle, to be honest. Um,
Right.
yeah. Well, we should probably start wrapping it up.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a lot of fun. I don't know if there's any other questions from chat. I'm just reading through chat. Lots of great comments. Oh, folks, yeah. Someone mentioned earlier the StudioCon channel that Glipperall set a 2-star puzzle with a global break-in that was like a little killer, and I think I actually remember that puzzle. That was a really cool one where like
Yeah.
this. Well, actually, I shouldn't say why it's cool because it's a complete spoiler. So I'll just shut up. But I do remember that puzzle. So it
Yeah,
is
I do
doable.
too.
Yeah, maybe both of us should try that. Right? Set an approachable global break-in as our next puzzle. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking if I've already done that. I think the lowest, like in 3-star puzzles, I definitely have, but not in anything lower. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a good challenge.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah. Thanks for solving. This was super fun to watch, and you're way faster than I solved these, even though I set them. So
Well,
that was
thank you
kind of
for
cool.
setting. They were great fun to solve as well,
Awesome.
and I'm glad that it was so relatively simple to understand what the constraints do, and I
Yeah.
didn't
Thank
have
you.
to
Yeah.
speculate too much.
It's
Yeah.
hard to make that happen, but I'm glad that after lots of testing and tweaking that that's the case.
Hmm.
If anybody does make these, like test them a lot and don't give hints to your testers. That's all I can say. All right. Well, thanks everybody. It's been fun.
Yep. Thank you all for watching.